Hi Laker fans, I'm Jennifer Drasler and you're watching Laker Zone. Hi Laker fans, I'm Jennifer Drasler with another edition of Laker Zone, and joining me today is men's and women's head track and field coach, Mike Mead. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Now tell me, your team has been doing really well and just broke some major team records. Tell me about that.
Well, we had a couple of records set this season, both our 3,000 meter indoor records by Arlington Askew on the men's side and then Paige Galvin on the women's side. Paige did her, I think both those were set down at the University of Florida meet that we ran back in January. And then our most recent records were just set here on February 4th when we made an excursion, we'll say, to Ohio, where we had 3 team records set. The men's distant medley relay team I'm trying to think here, we had Charles Anderson, Edlin Veras, Shelby Russell, and Arlington Askew run 10:15 for 4,000 meters, which was real close to an NCAA Division II provisional mark.
Wow.
And then on top of that, both our 800 meter records for indoor, Charles Scooter is his nickname, Anderson, went and broke the 800 meter record. And then Maya Kunin, who's a freshman out of Germany, she bettered our women's 800 meter record.
Well, good. And I know we were talking earlier about different tracks, their regulation size, and sometimes this has an impact on what their score is, what their time is. They may end up with one time, but they might have to add time to that score. Tell me about that.
In track and field, particularly for indoor track, is very unique because there's different track sizes. So we have conversion tables as far as performances that are done on oversized tracks or undersized tracks. 200 meters is the standard size for indoor track. But nowadays, a lot of facilities, in the facilities that we went to in Ohio last week, that was a 300 meter size. So times, you can run faster times on that because for distance events you have less turns.
Right.
And then also altitude can have an effect too. So
now altitude? Wow.
That's correct, yeah. Altitude, for example, we ran at a meet last year at Appalachian State, and it fell within the guidelines for altitude. So
now that has to do, the higher up you are, the harder it is to breathe while you're running, or what is that?
That's the theory, yes.
Okay.
So there's more effort, there's less oxygen. So
would they get time knocked off for having a higher altitude?
Correct.
Okay.
So for example, at our national men's level, recently Adams State runner in the mile ran equivalent to a 4:04 is what you would see on the list, but his actual time was 4:09.
Okay, so he got time taken off because of
the altitude,
the high altitude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, we had certain runners who did really well. Who have you found has been really stepping up to the plate? One off the men's, one on the women's. You have to pick one from either side. Who would you pick?
Well, I would say Arlington Askew. He's a junior out of Spain who has really made a tremendous improvement in the past year. For example, he ran on that distant medley relay, the mile or 1,600 meter leg, and that was the first time he'd ever really done that, and ran a sub 4:20. So those of you that know anything about miles and everything, that's pretty significant for a first timer. And then he also ran probably the fastest leg in our 4x4 relay, breaking 50 seconds. And that's kind of a benchmark for when you have particularly a distance runner, a middle distance runner that can break 50 seconds on a relay or open 400.
So he's been doing well. And
yes.
On the women's side, who would you pick?
On women's side, I would have to give it to Paige Galvin. She, with the 3,000 meter race, and she's been really consistent. She's always been, I call it the galvanizer. And she has just been working hard and is kind of the leader of the team, and has really, I think, helped invigorate the team.
And what do we have to look forward to? Any upcoming track meets? What can you fill me in on there?
Sure. Our indoor season's wrapping up pretty quickly because our outdoor season will begin in mid-March. But this, where we're talking February 10th and 11th, we'll be at Clemson University for the Tiger Paw Invitational. There'll be a 2-day meet. It'll pretty much be the end of the indoor season for the majority of our runners. But our men's distant medley relay team we'll be going to the Virginia Tech Challenge up in Blacksburg the following week to see if they can hit an NCAA provisional mark and have a chance of going to the national meet,
Wow.
which will be in mid-March at Mankato State up in Mankato, Minnesota.
Okay, well, good luck to you and
Thanks.
to your team. And if you want to find out more about the men's and women's track and field team, you can log on to ClaytonStateSports.com. Until next time, Laker fans, I'm Jennifer Drasler with Laker Zone.